Okay, it's game number 2 here in the DreamHack Zowie Open. I am dead at this point, and once again, Zyber will take over with some solo casting once we're done with this best of 3. So let's try and get through it before I die. In the bottom right side of Ruins of Saras, we've got the player on his last life. In the last best of 3 you could possibly play for DreamHack. If he loses this, he's out. It's the yellow Terran player, InZaNe.
In the top right as the green Protoss, it is State. And, oh, I already don't like these positions. These positions scare me for Oracles and Militia Core rushes. Usually these positions would scare the Protoss for Widowmine drops or some such, but while Widowmine drops can occur in TvP still, if you're already scared of a Protoss, plus they do really Protoss-y things to you and you're even more scared, chances are you're not going to go for a more aggressive build.
I feel like game 1 is elementary school, and State was the bully for InZaNe, stealing his lunch every day and beating him up. This is the high school reunion later on, and InZane's kind of like, oh, God, I just have such... Like, I know I'm an adult now, and I'm strong and an individual, but I still have bad memories of you, and...
Yes. That was a perfect description.
Yeah, well, that's how my high school reunion is gonna go. It's gonna hiss like a cat at everybody.
Alright, are you really? Aren't you on the fence about going?
I don't even want to go. If I go,
okay, really
I want to just lie about everything. I'll be like, oh, I became a whale harpooner, you know, took up to the sea.
So you invented Post-its.
What? But I didn't. Everyone knows I didn't.
No, come on, Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
I don't know that.
Ah!
Harry Met Sally? Yar. I even know the song. We're whalers on the moon. We carry our harpoons. But there aren't no whales, so we tell tales, always sing our whaling tune.
Oh, such a good song. So good.
I'll buy a captain's hat too. They'll have to believe me then.
They'll believe that. I'm gonna buy a costume police badge and say that I'm a police officer.
And tell them to drop it and refer to their pants, and then turns out you're a police officer stripper.
I'm actually a stripper. That's my dream goal, you know, when I turn 28. Anyways, so the Militia Corps did not go on the other side.
There's nothing wrong with being a stripper. Don't look down on it.
There's not. I know. But I'm not sure it is going to be your dream.
BS.
Like, dancing might be your dream, but... So, the Militia Corps didn't do very much. The Reaper did die, but it's Ruins of Saras, so that's to be expected. You know, just, it's destined to die. Unless you picked it up in a medevac, and then maybe it doesn't.
The Adept's gonna be able to get a couple of kills, but...
I think you're gonna get 4 kills. Damn it. Come on, State.
Well, apparently the mule doesn't count on the workers lost tab, so only 2 kills. And 2, I believe, according to English, is a couple.
Damn it. You didn't commit.
Man, this is like when you said no DTs. That was awkward, right?
That was just funny, actually.
I know.
No DTs. Last DT.
Then he keeps smelling like more and more.
That's really the last one.
He's gonna treat this just like Orena, and he's gonna go for that fleet beacon again.
This is why I didn't appreciate these positions.
So, I mean, the positions, yeah, that was kind of like the from the get-go, but I didn't think he'd actually do it on this map because there is a little bit of ground distance between the bases. One of the problems with Orena, like, you couldn't actually get there with Marines, whereas here you might be able to flank and run around and actually catch the Tempests that are floating out here, as there's no real safe spot for them to fly to. I'm not saying that this will automatically go well versus bad, but I am curious to see how it plays out because State, last time he did this, it was a little abusive, but it was what allowed him to get to 3 bases.
Yeah, pretty easily too. One other difference is that InZaNe scouted the double Stargates with a drop that did some damage, not a lot. This time, it's going to be Viking. So at least he scouted it, but it's not going to do any damage.
Tempests are one of these units that just have a silly amount of health for early game units to deal with, and that's why this looks like such a struggle a lot of the time. I think the double Stargate reaction to get more Vikings out is not an overreaction. I think it's rather appropriate, but it is still, here come those Tempests, what can InZaNe do? The idea to go for a counter push isn't too bad, but the Tempests aren't going to be too far away from home, and turning around to deal with this, it's not out of the equation at all.
Yeah, the state is not ready for an attack unless he brings the Tempest back, of course. There are a couple of pylons more being made as he realizes the situation, but they're not going to be down to overcharge. This is going to be a bit of a trade.
Tank's going to push slower than the Tempest will too, which is kind of funny, but lots of Vikings coming out. So 3 at a time. Talked before, you want to get about 8 or so before you really push in and go for the kill move on those Tempests, regardless of whether there's 6 or 10 or 12. But Cyclone gets a really nice lock on, actually. It does a lot of damage to that one Tempest. Both of them now stripped of shields. Other side of the map, the photon overcharges are, I mean, it's plentiful. This mothership core is full on juice.
Yeah, I mean, well, he had siege tanks, so he took it really slow and allowed the pylons to finish, which in turn meant he couldn't push up the ramp anymore. So this push did not do very much.
Isn't that battle cruisers though? Take it slow.
What?
Make it happen.
InZaNe's response to the Tempest is already a lot better than an arena game. That is partially due to the map, but also partially just due to, like, he knows more what to expect. And went for that double, triple starport even?
So even with all the Vikings hounding this one Tempest, it ends up being one Tempest for how many Vikings is traded out? 4? Not super amazing. Proxy gateway coming down here, and a mothership. Now, we saw the mothership last time, and I almost thought it was for a bit of trolling, but I guess the stealth detection will make it really hard for the Vikings to actually get up here and snipe off a Tempest.
The Tempest count is getting to a crazy point where, you know, they're going to be able to snipe off buildings, SCVs, potentially even if this game goes on further, snipe off like actual buildings, like barracks or command centers. But you can't just entirely depend on Tempests.
No, he's got a pretty heavy adept army behind us. Actually, enough adepts to take on a siege tank push or just more Marines. The Vikings decided to dive in. This is what I was talking about. You got to have that really nice bulk amount of them. So he's going to take a decent trade. Kills 2 of the Tempests pretty quickly. Once again, depleted of those Vikings, perhaps a little too soon.
What the A mothership with an overcharging pylons.
Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of...
I've seen everything now.
I had mentioned it in the production tab. Again, thinking to be more cloak involved with the Tempests more so than the Adepts, but the Adepts chase off those Marines. The Tempests have done a good chunk of damage, and well, InZaNe has not been totally screwed by this. I mean, he takes a third. I would actually love to see him still try to expand, but now here comes the kill. What feels like the killing blow: 77 army supply, most of which is in Adepts, and these Adepts are going to be pretty damn effective. Because as cool as the Vikings are to see, they don't shoot down. If they do, the Tempest will kill them.
I mean, the last time he faced this build, there was a very quick third CC. So I think InZaNe had the right idea versus that by pushing out these couple of times. But State makes it up. He went for a 2-base, you know. So
does he have resonating
Vikings
glaives?
So useless right now.
He has resonating glaives. So if the Vikings land, the Adepts can actually take them on. Not that the Vikings going to land in great numbers. They are pretty much gone. Stalkers coming into the fight, going to force them to land. However, natural base going down. The Viking count is completely irrelevant at this stage, and that's going to be game. State will take this series again, 2-0, in a very stupid